Assalamualaikum. Before we start, let us introduce ourselves first. My name is Nur Aidila binti Muhammad Nur Zahid.
My name is Nur Atira binti Muhammad Kashfi.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Anis binti Rasli.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Atira binti Syabuddin.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Nili Maisara binti Najmuddin.
Now, let's start with the introduction. It was no surprise that the pandemic has killed a total of many people around the world, compelling everyone to adopt a new standard of mask, SOP, and lockdown. Malaysia is not newcomer to lockdown, having imposed a number of MCO to counter the infectious disease since the beginning of 2020. Since then, every MCO has been linked to a major effect on people's mental health, decreased income level, increased unemployment and poverty, among other things. Due to COVID-19, the first MCO has a negative influence on a number of Malaysia victor sector. Malaysia manufacturing industry, for example, is experiencing a problem with the production of commodities such as oil and gas as a result of the global crude oil crisis. The next industry that is estimated to be hard the most is the tourist industry. Travelers will be required to delay their travel and cancel hotel and flight reservations, which will be a major loss for Malaysia. COVID-19 will also has a significant impact on the value of the ringgit in Malaysia as a result of pandemic selling by investors seeking to avoid the current volatile market. The downturn in tourism in Malaysia as well as the drop in the global crude oil price will weaken demand for the ringgit, lowering its value.
Next, I will continue with the current issue faced by Malaysia. As you can see in the graph, Malaysian GDP was declined by 5.6% in 2020 compared to 4.3% in 2019 due to drop in all economic sectors. In 2021, Malaysian GDP in the second quarter shows an improvement at 16.1% compared to 0.5% in the first quarter. However, Malaysia's GDP dropped in the third quarter of 2021 by 4.5% caused by strict containment measures arising. The pandemic COVID-19 also give a big impact on the operation of all main economic sectors. The service sectors is one of the economic sectors hardest hit during the pandemic with a 5.5% contraction in 2020. The service sectors is expected to grow by 2.6% in 2021 with positive growth in more subsectors. The manufacturing sectors maintain a record positive growth of GDP in 2020 and 2021 because the positive growth in all subsectors. The agriculture sectors declined slightly by 2.2% in 2020 compared to 0.8% in 2021. Many actions will be taken by the government to revive the gross domestic product (GDP) in the budget for 2022. Budget 2022 implements to support the economic recovery during this pandemic by reopening the economy under the National Recovery Plan through an expansionary fiscal policy stance. Firstly, the government introduced a one-off special prosperity tax whereby the first tax rate for chargeable income of 100 million ringgit at 24% while the remaining chargeable income at 33%. Secondly, the government imposed a service tax for delivery services of goods by e-commerce platform except for logistics services and food and beverages. Thirdly, the government introduced a Special Voluntary Disclosure Program (SVDP) for indirect tax in order to boost tax revenue. Fourthly, the government will impose a tax on foreign source income. It is only applied to the income by Malaysian tax residents. Next, Finance Minister has announced 1.3 billion has been allocated in the tourism industry. There is an allocation of 900 million ringgit for 26,000 employers and 313,000 employees who are affected during this pandemic. Last but not least, the government implements booster dose of vaccine as one of the methods to ensure positive economic growth in 2022.
The issue that arises, Malaysia has been struggled with the amount of unemployment rate every year. As you can see on the graph here, this is the graph about the unemployment rate in Malaysia starting from the 1999 to 2020. But let's focus on the December 2019 until 2020. In the December 2019, the unemployment rate was at 3.2%. But we had it worse in 2020 with 4.55% of unemployment rate due to the pandemic COVID-19 that happened in Malaysia. Now, let's see in the year of 2021. For the third quarter of 2021, the unemployment rate was at 4.7%. Even it showed a decline as compared with the first and the second quarter of 2021, it is still high as compared to the December 2019 and 2020 because of the second wave of the pandemic COVID-19 that happened in Malaysia, where our government has implemented the Movement Control Order 2.0. How Malaysia can revive this unemployment rate is with the budget of 2022 that has been announced. Government has introduced the Jamin Kerja Keluarga Malaysia, which offers 600,000 job opportunity to the people that are searching for the job. And the cost for this initiative is about 4.8 billion ringgit Malaysia, just to make sure the unemployed people get a job opportunity. Basically, this initiative is a good move that being done by the government because it can give the opportunity, especially for the fresh graduate that just finished the study, and also for the people that lost their job during the COVID-19 pandemic. Also, government has given another initiative where the government they have cooperated with the SUKSU to give the 300,000 job opportunity to the people, which cost about 2 million ringgit Malaysia. Incentive of 20% will be given for the first 6 months and 30% for the next 6 months with salary of 1,500 ringgit and above. Both initiative by the government, which is the Jamin Kerja Keluarga and the cooperative with SUKSU, is a good move by the government because they are basically offering a job opportunity, with both offering the 600,000 and 300,000 job opportunity to the unemployed people in Malaysia. Another initiative that has been introduced by the government is for the disabled persons, orang asli and ex-convicts, where for any employers that give a job opportunity to these people, government will give an incentive of 30% of the monthly salary for the first 6 months and 40% for the next 6 months. Also, in 2021, the Malaysia Short-Term Employment Program, or known as the MyStep, that has been successfully implemented was being continued in 2022 by offering for about 80,000 job opportunity to the public starting in January 2022. About 50,000 jobs for the public sector and 30,000 within the government-linked companies. Also, the program like the upskilling and the reskilling also will be implemented, which cost about 1.1 billion ringgit Malaysia.
Okay, let's move on to the next part, which is inflation. So COVID-19 problem has affected emerging markets at a key stage in their development, which it has an impact on inflation is fraught with uncertainty. In addition, the Consumer Price Index, which is CPI, it measures an inflation in the economy. There are some issues of inflation happen during COVID-19. Firstly, issues of inflation during COVID-19 is Malaysia's CPI has rising and lead to the highest inflation in 2021. According to Malaysia's inflation figures, the Consumer Price Index, which is CPI, increased 4.7% year-on-year in April 2021. Secondly, during MCO, pandemic COVID-19 had a negative effect on Malaysia's inflation rate as well. This is because in the first 3 months of 2020, Malaysia's inflation rate was 0.9%, and this is caused a big chance in the amount of both supply and demand in the economy. Based on the graph above, Malaysia inflation was recorded below 0% in March year 2020 until January 2021 regarding to the impact of COVID-19. Moreover, the price of goods and services increases in 2021 will lead to issue of inflation during COVID-19. The weak currency and the country's dependency on imported products. Lastly, the crisis has caused a considerable fall in demand and supply disruption for numerous important commodities, causing inflationary concern during COVID-19. To overcome inflation happen, the government has issued budget 2022 to revive the economy. Firstly, Malaysia's inflation set to the moderate to 2.1% to improve economy and steadily oil prices. Next, the monetary policy. Based on budget 2022, economic recovery continues to be supported by monetary policy to continue supportive of economic recovery and accommodating. Moreover, the government can overcome by reducing the cost of living. The Malaysian government has budgeted a total of RM31 billion for subsidies in budget 2022. Lastly, the government stated incentive in budget 2022 to provide resources for agriculture industry, food security and commodities by raising production and recruiting new generation of agripreneurs.
Okay, let me share with you the issue of FDI during the pandemic of COVID-19. Malaysia received a net inflow of RM14.6 billion in 2020, down from RM32.4 billion the previous year. A 54.8% decrease due to the global economic uncertainty caused by the pandemic crisis. FDI reached RM698.8 billion by the end of 2020, while 2019 they reached RM687.8 billion. Meanwhile, investment income fell to RM44.6 billion in 2019 from RM60.5 billion the previous year. Okay, let me share to you what's budget 2020 that can revive in the form of FDI during the pandemic of COVID-19. A special fund for strategic investment up to RM2 billion will be prepared to attract strategic foreign investment by multinational companies. Besides that, to accelerate the country economic recovery, the Trade and Investment Mission will get RM25 million in funding from the budget to examine high-impact projects and new export market. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob, Prime Minister of Malaysia, also stated that SMITI has succeeded in attract foreign investment in the industry by driving economic growth through strategic investment incentive. An allocation of RM80 million would be made through MITI to train 2,000 people to support industrial clusters. A further RM50 million would be supplied through State Skills Development Centre in Sarawak, Johor and Penang to boost the TVET's skill. Government's plan to provide RM100 million to provide smart automation machine, grants to 200 enterprises in the manufacturing and services sector to automate their business operation in order to boost productivity through automation. Furthermore, extend the additional reinvest allowance or RA for current Malaysian enterprise. Lastly, they give RM25 million to the Halal Development Corporation.
In conclusion, Malaysia's economy is predicted to rebound in 2022 as a result of various government efforts to reduce the pandemic's effect. Fiscal stimulus, policy assistance, positive financial market, and vaccination expansions are among the factors that has increased overall economic growth. we can finally see the light at the end of the COVID-19 darkness, with almost all of our populations expected to be fully vaccinated by the end of October. We must continue to collaborate in order to rebuild our beloved country into a secure and peaceful environment. That's all from us. Thank you.